Hi guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to cover another very commonly asked question, which is between ACCA, CMA, CPA, which one should you really prefer? Now, obviously, consider this. When I did my, ACCA, that was, almost 15 odd years ago, right? At that time, there was only BCom. There was very recently started BMS, and then we had some vocational courses, and either you do a CA, you do a CS, you do ICWA, or you do an MBA, right? So the opportunities or the options were very few. So first of all, you should be pleased that you have so many options that you can choose from. Now, in terms of which certification you should really go for, there is no easy and straightforward answer, because every qualification is brilliant in its own sense, right? And it really depends upon you, what is your objective and why are you going to pursue any of these qualifications? Why are you even doing ACCA or CPA or CMA, right? So that's something that you need to ask yourself, because and how do you answer that is, how much effort you want to put in, how much time you want to put in, how much investment you want to put in. These are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself before you are able to decide which qualification you can go for. However, I will try and make this video as objective and try and make it as short as possible. All right. So first thing, of course, ACCA is a UK-based body. It's over 100-year-old body, and a body that is accepted world over. Coming to CMA, that is again a few decades old body. Again, it has been accepted world over, very similar to CPA. So in terms of visibility, acceptability, all these three bodies are very much accepted world over, right? When it comes to the kind of content that is there, now this is where the difference starts to come in, right? Because at the end of the day, these are all international bodies and they all do phenomenal work for the industry, for the students, but it is what content is being covered. So for example, ACCA, while in its 13 papers, will cover everything right from, let's say, business and technology, that will cover lots of basic stuff, to things like AAA, where it is all advanced audit and assurance, or advanced tax, or advanced FM, or advanced PM. So in terms of the length and the depth of the course in ACCA, that's fairly deep. You've got a lot of content to cover, so it is fairly comprehensive. Now moving towards CMA or CPA for that matter. Now CMA has two parts, whereas CPA has 4 papers. So when you talk about CMA, while it will have all the content that you will see in ACCA, so a lot of things like auditing, finance, costing, right, ethics, etc., you will find that in CMA as well. But in terms of the depth, that will be slightly lesser compared to ACCA. The same will or can be said about CPA, because in CPA you have 4 papers which has got audit, tax, regulatory, and then business environment and concepts, right? Again, all these 4 papers, as the name itself suggests, for example, regulatory has taxation, has compliances, has laws, right? On the other hand, financial reporting talks about US GAAP, audit is audit, and business environment and concepts have things like costing will also come in, ethics will also come in, some finance will also come in. So as you can see here, now both the bodies, by the way, are US based. So the way I look at it is that whatever you want from your, let's say, qualified accounting qualification, right, like a CA or an ACCA, you can actually get that from a merger or a marriage of CMA and CPA, right? So that's why I usually suggest, because look, at FPA, we provide trainings for all the programs. We do ACCA, we do CMA, we do CPA, we do CFA, we do CFP, right? And God knows how many programs will start, because at the end of the day, we want to stay very live with the trend. So we will obviously keep coming up with new courses which are more industry ready. So coming back, we do feel that, someone who wants to do a CMA, yes, brilliant program, You may want to, put a CPA after that, so that you are a much wholer qualified accountant, right? Now that's to do with the kind of content that is there. Then comes time taken. Now if you look at ACCA on its own, you will do all the 13 papers, you should look at 3.5, 4 years. When you do a CMA, typically 12 months, because you do one part in, let's say, 6 months, so you do 12 months. And then CPA, again, because it's 4 papers, every quarter you should attempt 1 paper, so again 12 months, right? So in terms of the duration, obviously CMA and CPA can be finished a lot more quicker. But again, coming back to my point, if you are looking at someone who wants to become a much fuller, much wholer qualified accountant, then you are looking at doing both the courses together. Then in terms of cost, now cost really depends upon whether you take the tuitions, you don't take the tuitions, because at the end of the day, it is the tuition content that may become the game changer, right? So typically doing ACCA would cost, now again, doing right from paper 1 to your exam fees to your registration, etc., roughly 4.5, 5 lakh rupees is what you spend in the 3.5 years. On the other hand, if you are doing a CMA, along with the content, tuition, registration, etc., it's roughly 1.5 lakh, right? In terms of CPA, doing everything along with the content may cost you around 3 odd lakhs. So if you look at it again, my point being that if you are going to compare an ACCA only with CMA, yes, CMA is going to be a lot more cheaper, right? But if you want to try and do both the qualifications, CMA and CPA, the cost will become similar-ish. In terms of jobs are plenty for both. If you are a CPA, you will be hired by Big Fours. If you are a CMA, you will be hired by Big Fours and MNCs. If you are an ACCA, you will be hired by MNCs and Big Fours, right? So there are plenty of opportunities, but for the right person. So it's not that I am an ACCA, come on, snap my fingers and I want to get a good job, high-paying job. There are lots of myths around qualifications, and do watch my other videos where I have covered some of these myths, right? So make sure that if salary is your primary concern, all these qualifications should ideally give you great salaries, okay? So salaries, jobs, etc., if I look at all 3 of them, they will be able to give you same kind of outcome. But yeah, my first thing which I started my the whole video is that you need to ask yourself, do you want to spend time doing a qualification which is more fuller, has got accounts, finance, tax, audit, everything? You are willing to put the monies in, you are willing to put the investment in, because let's not forget, let's say CPA for that matter, you can only start after you are your graduate, right? On the other hand, ACCA you can start even just after 10th, right? CMA on the other hand, people would start just after 12th, right? So there are some eligibility criteria as well. However, if you do think that I am confusing you all the more, and if you would like more information, then feel free to connect with me, and I will be happy to get my team to counsel you to make sure that you take the right decision. Until then, all the very best, and thank you.